time to come with the thunder.
The kid from Saskatchewan knows the line on this track, I'll tell you that right now. I'm tuckered out.
I'll tell you what.
You take it from here, I'm going to call it a night.
Well, of course, tonight the Sutter brothers teams go head-to-head. Second time in about a month, Derek.
Yeah, I don't know who Mom's cheering for, but yeah, I guess, well, she's been through this before, obviously. It's Darryl versus Brent 2 tonight at the Staples Center, and this game will have as much pregame tension as a title fight. The Flames go into the game just 2 points behind the Kings and the Coyotes in the West Division, and this seems to be a good time for the Flames to be taking on their former coach and the Kings, as they have struggled lately with only 4 wins in their last 10 games. And for the Flames, their last line of defense has never been better, as Mika Kiprasov is playing some of the best hockey of his brilliant career. Flames and the Kings from the West Coast is a late game tonight, starting at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. We, of course, will have all the highlights for you tonight at 11:30. The Flames have the next 2 days off, and then they begin a 4-game homestand on Tuesday when they host the Edmonton Oilers. Remember in the Flintstones when Mr. Slate used to yell at Fred when he messed up at the rock quarry? Fred would feel bad and he would get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Well, the Minnesota Wild seem to feel like Fred these days, getting yelled at by Mr. Slate, as with every disappointing loss, they just seem to be getting smaller and smaller and fading away in the Western Conference. We begin with Barrett Jackman as he gets his first goal of the season for the Blues, 1-0 St. Louis. And for the Wild, this game is already over. Andy McDonald will score here. Coming up, Blues win it by a score of 4-0. They improve to 79 points this season, second most in the West, but still trail Detroit in their division, by the way. The Minnesota Wild have now lost 7 straight games and should see if there's any work at the Rock Quarry with Fred and Joe Rockhead and the crew there. Heath Brown joins us live down at the Pengrove Saddle Dome, and Heath, behind you is the 1-2 game. Are my rowdy relatives there once again causing trouble, maybe trying to do the wave again?
Well, I've met many people from Saskatchewan here this week at the Briar, and I'm sure some of them have to be related to you. Certainly they act like they're related to you, Derek. Yes, the 1-2 game is underway. And Derek, of course, you'll have highlights tonight at 11:30. I will have post-game reaction from this great matchup. Of course, the winner going right to the final, the loser playing in the semifinal tomorrow night, 24 hours from now. And tonight as well, we'll profile Alberta third, John Morris.
Thanks, Heath. I'll let you go. There's a guy behind you that looked kind of mad you were talking while he was watching curling.
Our Calgary Stampeders hosting the BC Lions tonight here at McMahon Stadium. But, Derek, it was a wet one tonight.
Yes, Ted, it was a little chilly there, too. The Stamps and the BC Lions faced off again in their second and final preseason game, and kudos to all those that braved the elements to root on the red and white. Unfortunately, most of the highlights came from the orange and white. The Lions get on the board first. It's Dave Dickinson to G-Roy Simon at the back of the end zone, and he will strike a pose. 7-0 BC. But the Stamps respond to that one. It's Henry Burris with the beautiful pass to Scotty Anderson. And then watch Scotty sit there and Nick Lewis come sliding between his legs right there. Look out. A very dangerous touchdown dance there, and that allows these guys to also strike a pose. Did I mention it was cold tonight? Then with the score 10-7 for the Stamps, it's Dickinson to Josh Bowden, and he will make it 14-7 for the Lions after a Burris interception. It's Dickinson to the big man, former U of R Ram Jason Claremont, 21-10 for the Leos, and some more from that duo. Dickinson throwing 4 touchdown passes tonight. Henry Burris tries to force one in on the sidelines, and it will be picked off by Corey Banks, and that always results in a quick 6 the other way. The Lions lay a dirty one on the Stamps in front of a rain-soaked crowd. 57-13 is the final. The Stamps' first regular season game is next Saturday when they host the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, I got to tell you, Derek, like most people on the East Coast, 6-1, I'm going to bed, only to wake up to find out that they stormed back. What was the mood like in the building?
Well, the mood, of course, in the building was electric. It was another sea of red, but different, of course, than the sea of red that we normally have here for the Calgary Flames. Of course, rooting on Team Canada, and especially in the last few minutes, you started to get the feeling that this was going to be one of those games that you will always remember where you were. And I still will remember watching this one because of the brilliant comeback that it was for Team Canada.
CTV's Derek Bidwell is in Calgary and joins us live with reaction to the final games. We'll start with Canada. They really did the country proud, bringing home the bronze, and it was kind of easy. They got another shutout.
Yeah, they got another shutout. It was great to see Mark Visentin obviously wrap up his experience at the World Juniors that way. He, of course, was the goalie that was in net for Canada last year when there was that collapse, of course, against Russia. So great to see him in this game. Great to see him get the shutout and wrap up his World Junior experience. And I heard from a lot of the players yesterday that they said this will be an experience that they will always cherish. And the young men that they had a chance to play with, obviously it wasn't the medal that they wanted, but they still left on a winning note. A lot of times people say, well, you win the bronze, but you don't win the silver, you lose the gold. Well, they won the bronze, they won their final game, they left on a high note, they left with their heads held high, and I was very proud as a Canadian to see them come out and play the way they did and get the 4-0 victory over Finland. The Canadian men had more success on the ski hill today as Ben Thompson took the silver, finishing second in Sochi, Russia, the site of the next Winter Olympics, of course. Last week, it was Thompson's buddy and roommate Jan Hudik who took the gold, with Eric Gay finishing third and Ben Thompson finishing fifth, giving Canada its best single-day results since 1994. It was a special day for Jan to get back on the podium, especially after battling so many injuries, and no one was happier than his biggest fan, his mom.
I was sleeping and I did not get up to my alarm clock, and somebody from Switzerland actually phoned me and woke me up and screaming into the phone, "Vladi, Vladi, are you watching?" And I of course wasn't, because I slept in, and so he said, "Your son is winning, your son is winning," and I just broke in tears. It was an exciting time and I was so happy for Jan. And then when I saw, of course, Eric being third and Benny coming in fifth, that was just the icing on the cake.
Jan has battled several back and knee injuries. In fact, he even has an Achilles tendon in his knee from a cadaver holding things together. Because of all of this, the victory means so much more when it seemed like everyone had written him off, but not his mom.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say, because that is such a long, long road. And I don't even know where to begin. And you know, usually I admire Jan because I probably would quit a long time ago. And he must have had something in him which tells him, yes, you know, I can do it, I can do it. And that's why he's persistent.
For Vladdy, she's hoping to have a little longer conversation with Jan after his next win on the World Cup circuit.
What a great lady. That was a fun interview.
Now, the festival will continue until Sunday. We also mentioned earlier in the show the Chinatown Centennial, and as well Africa Day is going on tomorrow in downtown Calgary. So busy weekend. Let's hope the weather holds out for everybody.
Plenty to do for everybody, and even though if the weather isn't great, you go down and that food, it doesn't matter.
You just bring your slicker.
A little bit of everything. I like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You get the tickets. I love it.
Oh,
for a picky eater like me too, it's great because you can always find something.
I never, ever, you didn't strike me as a picky eater.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Picky eater.
Things you didn't need to know about Derek Bidwell.
You don't want things to touch. You don't want them to touch all their stuff.
Just eat it.
You're not the boss of me. Good night.
Good night.
This is the festival's 13th year. Love that, seeing a red carpet event in Calgary.
I don't get invited to too many of them.
No, no, you don't.
Thanks for just agreeing. No, you do not. No, you don't. Derek does not.
No, well, you'd show up all the stars, and they want to focus on them.
Your
and not
handsomeness
on you.
would just dull everybody
Great
else.
comeback.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
2 Australian tourists are suing the federal government after they were mauled by a grizzly bear.
CTV News, Calgary.
The bear is expected to take the stand tomorrow.
Thanks, David.
I know you didn't get into it with David, but I wanted to say something that I thought that was great. How did that go again, the story with the bear?
Okay, let's correct this because it did sound really silly. A bear expert is expected to take the stand tomorrow. And people on Twitter, stop bugging me because I know you're bugging me right now.
Because she said the bear is expected to take the stand tomorrow, which I thought would be very interesting, but very dangerous if you were in the court. That particular day, the courtroom.
I have nothing else to say. I made my correction. A bear expert.
Plus, that should have led if the bear was going to take the stand. I think that should have been the lead story. But let's get back to sports.
Here.
Let's get to sports
take
now.
the attention. Take the spotlight.
The Stamps and the Riders, they of course play on Friday. We will have a preview. She's perspiring. She's so embarrassed. Sports is next.